cast is so huge. The speed of the retrieve is probably so more important than most people ever have a clue. If you're just a little bit too fast or a little bit too slow, a lot of times that's the whole key to it. Whatever the weather's doing, the wind, the tide, the size of the bait is huge. And then a little bit about diversity. When I fish, I'm a junk fisherman. Even within swim baits, there's a lot of times that I'll be fishing Caesar's baits and I literally will have 4 or 5 on the deck. I literally may make 2 casts with whatever color it may be. And then, a little cloud comes over and I'll literally cut it off and retie it. Sometimes it's grueling and it's a long day. But I think I've had days where I picked up one of any kind of swim bait, whether it's toxic or anything, and I'll throw it all day. And I have had some epic days out here. I had a day a couple years ago, I should have had like 46 pounds in a tournament. It was the most epic day ever. And that happened in about 30 minutes. But more times than not, I think the biggest thing I can tell you is I'll have anywhere, I brought this just kind of to give you guys an idea. It's just showing just some different styles, whether it's anywhere from a talon to a mission fish to a paddle tail to a wake and crank to a wade hog to a glide. And the way that I'll approach it is I don't go out in tournaments anymore, and I fish like 25 tournaments a year. I don't really go out very often thinking I'm going to do this all day anymore, just because the more I fish tournaments, the more I realize today is not the same as yesterday. But I have an idea where the fish are, what the weather's going to do, and whatever, and I'll adjust throughout the day. So, whether it's retrieve, I would tell you guys, and I talked a little bit about just some of the things. The retrieve, the angle is just so important. And of all these things, if you're not paying attention, you may be the guy that gets one here, one there. But if you're not really paying attention and trying to dial in every single cast, I'm really good buddies with Justin Lucas, and we talk all the time. And he's always told me from years ago, he always said, I imagine that every single cast, there's a 10-pounder that's going to bite my bait. And so that's how you have to think about it. Are you reeling it just a little too fast, where you're not seeing anything? One of the things that I do is if I feel like they should be eating a swim bait today and they're not eating it, and I actually adjust a lot quicker than I used to. Now I may throw it for 10 or 15 minutes and go, something's not right here, I'm going to change the color. Then you get, all of a sudden, that could be the whole day, just from going from one color to the next. Or you know what, I'm going to fish a little bit slower. Or you know what, it's too calm right here, so I'm either going to go find a wind-blown bank, or I'm going to throw a different kind of bait. And that's why I think it's so important to have, when I fish swim baits, I literally will have a wade hog, a wake and crank, a mission fish, a paddle tail, so many swim baits. Because if you're just going to go out and throw one all day, yeah, if you're fishing for one fish, yeah, obviously that can happen. But if you're trying to tournament fish and catch 3, 4, 5 big ones a day, you got to know when to put it down. You got to know when to pick it up. You got to know how to diversify. And swim baits, as you guys all know, have come so far that you can, between a paddle tail and a mission fish and a top water and a glide bait, there's so many different applications. And so I would tell you, just to go a little bit into what Caesar was talking about, the Delta, it is all about windows. And I love it because as a local, it plays to my advantage, but it can be frustrating because you can fish out here all day long and be like, man, this place sucks. And then in 30 minutes, you can have 35 pounds. And it happens over and over again. But I think what I would pound into your guys' head is pay attention to every cast. With the current flow, if you're just making a perpendicular cast, you're probably, to the current, and you're just out there fishing, you're probably, as you guys probably mostly know, you're probably wasting your time. So every single cast, pay attention. If you feel like it should be happening and it's not, I really encourage you to change your bait up. Maybe a lot of times it's the size of the bait is so huge in swim bait fishing. Whether I'm throwing a bulkier bait or a little bit thinner bait or a little bit smaller bait or whatever it may be. So I would encourage you guys to rotate baits a lot. That's at least how I fish, is I will rotate. Again, I make like 5 casts and be like, nope, this isn't it. 10 casts with this one, it doesn't feel right, a little too clear. Oh, you know what, little wind over here, I'm gonna tie this one back on. So again, it can be frustrating, but you can have massive rewards out here. Again, talking about Caesar, cover is everything on the Delta, right? Whether it's a log, whether it's overhead covered grass over the holes. I'll tell you one thing too. I think you guys are fishing right first thing in the morning tomorrow. First thing in the morning, definitely want to capitalize, because that low light is, as you guys all know, especially when on the river. In the morning, it always kind of breaks the rule of the tides and the flow and all of that, in the sense of everything is just a little bit looser for about 30 minutes in the morning. So I would really encourage you to be on your best stuff first thing in the morning. Pay like so much attention to everything. So attention to detail, attention to color, depending on where you're fishing. The cool thing about the Delta is you can be in muddy water, you can be in 8 foot of visibility in the same river because it's so big. Current is huge, as Caesar said. This time of year, personally, I never fish no current at all, ever. It's not even an option for me. I'm always going to be around current this time of year. Yes, there's fish back in dead end sloughs, and maybe you guys can go back there and catch them. That's not the game I play. They're too finicky most of the time. I want target fish, very specific. And so I think that's, does anybody have any specific questions?